I'm Dix Astro Coach. Welcome to tonight's in-depth look at the new moon in Libra, which is on October the 6th. So I'm going to give you a general overview of the energies that are around for this new moon, and certainly that are going to be around for the first couple of weeks of October. October the 1st is around the corner tomorrow as I record this. And also I will give you all your individual zodiac signs and the energies that you can use to the best way for using the energies of this new moon. Okay, so this new moon is in Libra. And as I look at the chart, I'm struck by the fact that we have quite a lot of planets grouped together in Libra. So what we have is the sun and the moon and Mars, the planet Mars, which is our god of action, energy, aggression in its dark side, arguments, is conjunct this new moon. Also, retrograde Mercury, yes, we have a retrograde Mercury, as I'm sure you're aware, is also conjunct this new moon. And they're all opposite Chiron, which is our wounded healer, the little asteroid that has been in Aries for a long time and will be for quite a long time. And Chiron is in opposition to this new moon. So let's just unpack this a bit and see what it's about, because Mars, of course, rules Aries. And Libra is a cardinal sign, like Aries, and they like to initiate things. They like to keep things going. They want to get moving. So there's going to be a great feeling around this new moon of people just saying, I want to get on with life. I want to get back to work. I want to just kind of get on with everything, with my relationships, with everything that means something important to you. Now, the interesting thing about Libra is, of course, it is about relating. And so, therefore, this new moon is also about relationships. And it's giving you an opportunity to maybe begin again when things have been a bit tough. But the energies are quite hard because of this Mars conjunct the new moon. We've also got to look at Mercury that's retrograde, and it's being squared, which is a hard angle, a challenging angle, by retrograde Pluto in Capricorn. So Pluto squaring Mercury like this is really going to kind of feel as if something is boiling underneath that wants to erupt and come out. So, Pluto is about transformation. It's also about endings and beginnings. And yes, new moons are about new beginnings and initiating new things. But sometimes something has to go before we can bring the new in. So maybe you need to think about what has to leave your life to actually allow the new in, which you may not even be aware of what it is. But in that act of letting go, of closing a door, we had that really heavy energy Pisces full moon just a couple of weeks ago. And that was, I think, very tough for a lot of people with its energy. And it was at what we call the anarchic degree of the sign of Pisces, which means it's finished with Pisces. It's moving on into Aries, because our next full moon is in Aries in 2 weeks after the full moon, the new moon. So I think there may be a sense that we might feel argumentative. We might feel we've got to say what needs to be said. And the other thing that I haven't mentioned yet is that Pluto is stationing direct on the same day as the new moon. What does this mean? Well, Pluto, as I said, is this planet of transformation, endings and beginnings. And it's been in quite a long retrograde phase, which means in a sense we've seen a sort of slowing down, we've seen a kind of stoppage, we've seen maybe sort of big organizations, institutions that we thought would change just aren't. They're just kind of back in their old ways of doing things, their old systems. And Pluto is like this great big kind of, ship, this liner or this huge juggernaut truck that has just finished reversing and is revving its engines to start moving forward again. And we will feel that impetus with the new moon of Pluto moving forward. So what this will bring is a speeding up of anything that needs to change, go, leave, and be transformed in your life. That's really the message of this. And we have to look at Chiron, as I said, which is in opposition to this new moon, because Chiron, in a sense, is saying we can promote healing to situations that have been very difficult, very challenging, especially within relationships, because Libra is about relationships. Then it's saying that we have the opportunities to heal some of those wounds. The other positive is that we've got both retrograde Saturn and Jupiter, who are currently in Aquarius, which is our kind of bigger picture sign. It's our sign of technology and of larger, the sort of the larger world, the world at large. Okay, so it's large groups of people, and they have both too been in a retrograde phase. Now, both Saturn and Jupiter, a little bit later into October, are both going to station direct. This is super good news because we're really going to feel things moving forward. Where we felt blocked, where we felt nothing will change, nothing is coming in that I can't manifest what I want to manifest. This is really going to change this energy. And Saturn goes direct around the 11th of October, and Jupiter, and this is super exciting because Jupiter actually goes direct the same day that Mercury finishes its retrograde phase. So that's going to bring huge opportunity, and that's the 18th of October. So with anything that you've had to revisit, you've had to go over, you've had to perhaps communicate quite toughly to loved ones, then when they go direct, working with this new moon energy, we can see the real transformation starting to happen. And if within these situations the other party, shall we say, is not willing to budge, is kind of fixed and rigid in its stance, then I suspect that one will have got to the point where one goes, enough, then I'm moving on without this or without you, whatever is appropriate for your own life. So that's mostly what I want to say for the general overview of this new moon. The other thing I just wanted to add before I go on to your individual zodiac signs is that, Mercury retrograde is about communication. That's not necessarily speaking. It can also be listening. And I just want to remind us all that sometimes we don't listen to hear. People tell us a story or tell us what is wrong or what their problem is, and we're not really hearing what they say. We're already within our own agenda forming our reply, and probably bringing in our experience and our own agenda. And there's something about this Libran energy with Mercury retrograde in Libra that I feel if we could use it positively, it would be to actively learn to listen what is said by our nearest and dearest and our friends and say business colleagues. Listen to what people are saying, hear them, because absolutely active listening, as someone has just typed up, Barbara, thank you, Barbara, absolutely active listening is so important. So on that note, let's move on to your individual zodiac signs. So as always, I start with Aries, and for you Aries, I looked at this energy and I really felt that you have an opportunity with this Libra energy to change a significant relationship. So the energy urges you, however, to choose wisely. There are some tricky aspects and you need to think carefully before you speak. So remember the active listening before you speak or act. And your ruler Mars, of course, is in conjunction with this new moon. And that energy needs to be used assertively to get your point across, rather than aggressively. And you need to also just watch out for Pluto, which of course is making this hard angle to retrograde Mercury, because it could see you coming to boiling point as you're trying to get your message across. And I think the way around this is through forgiveness. If you can't forgive the other, then at least forgive yourself for maybe having made some choices that weren't great. And, you know, forgiveness is a great healer, especially when we're forgiving ourselves. Okay, let's move on to Taurus. So Taurus. Well, Taurus, a subject that maybe you do find quite challenging, exercise. Because this new moon energy is giving you a wonderful opportunity to start a new exercise and health regime. Now, I'm Sun Taurus, and I know this applies to me because when I looked at the chart, I thought, oh God, I can't kind of leave it alone any longer. I'm just going to have to do it. So it may be that, Taurus, that your work has kept you very sedentary. It's certainly kept me sedentary. And it's become easy to take your eye off the ball with regard to your health. So too many biscuits dipped in the coffee as you're working. And you need to really use this Libra energy with the help of the planet of action, Mars, to get back on that metaphorical exercise horse. I mean, I'll let you into secret. I've actually bought myself, and I'm using it, a cross trainer. And I intend to make my cross trainer happy. And so far, so good. I'm doing it slowly as I was advised when I bought it. And I'm just taking it very little baby steps. But, you know, sometimes I think with this whole COVID thing, we've all noticed how our habits changed so dramatically. And we're moving towards autumn and winter now. And I think we need to take super good care of our health. And obviously, healthy diet, healthy exercise regime boosts that immune system. So it means if you take care of your, excuse me, physical health, it takes care of your mental health. And, you know, don't beat yourself up, Taurus, if you have been neglecting it. It's never too late to start again. Speaking from experience. Right, let's move on to Gemini. Whoa, Gemini, whoa, you are firing on all cylinders with this new moon, because you're grabbing this new moon energy to gain a work and fun and partying kind of balance. So it's quite interesting, because I think you have ideas and plans to not only take strides forward with your hopes and dreams, but your creative juices really get an inspiring boost from the energy of Mars, which is in such a super helpful position for you. But there is always a but. For all of us, there's always a but. And for you, Gemini, just be mindful of how you communicate your ideas. As even though you can see how transformative they could be for another, you must allow others to reflect for themselves and get there in their own time. Okay, got that, Gemini? Good. Cancer. Lovely, lovely Cancer. Oh, Cancer, you've had quite a tough time with all the big planets in your opposite sign. But you know, when Pluto goes direct in your opposite sign of Capricorn on the same day as the new moon, you will notice that things will start to shift for you. And especially when retrograde Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius also move forward, you will notice that anything that is connected with joint finances and resources starts to shift. You start to get results. You hear news about it. You think, phew, at last things are going to start to sort of work out. And the thing I think you have to be mindful of, Cancer, is family clashes. That people are getting, you know, your family may be saying you're working too hard, or you're working too long, or working too much. And you need to kind of be firm but gentle with them. And to just, you know, find that Libran balance, which is what the Libra new moon is asking you to do. And use that Mars assertive energy to just set some better kind of regimes for yourself, so that you also are taking care of your physical health as well as your mental health. But I do think that there'll be news that you've been waiting for, connected with shared resources, will show positive signs of being resolved soon. Okay, let's move on to Leo. Leo, our lovely roaring lion. Are you roaring with this new moon? Let's have a look. Okay, so if you've got work projects you need to begin, with regard to writing, communication, any projects you're working on that involve a lot of sort of, you know, mental work and, you know, taking notes, writing things down, building things up, then you really have the green light to move forward assertively with this energy from the new moon. And it's also helped by transformational Pluto going direct, as we know this day, in the part of your chart that's connected with your day-to-day routine. So it feels as if you're going to get much more balance back into your working routine, because I think over the last few months you've found that quite tough, and it's been a kind of almost like a seesaw of loads of energy and then absolutely kind of crashing out. And you really, with this new moon, need to get some balance back into your energies. And it really is important that I think you too, like Taurus, are mindful of keeping to your word, to yourself, around new health and exercise regimes. Because even if it's been a struggle or is a struggle, if you keep going, you'll be so glad that you did. Virgo. How are you faring with this new moon? Let's have a look. Okay, so confident financial planning really can pay off now if you use this new moon energy to stride forward boldly. It really is good energy for you around your finances, Virgo. And I think you can you can risk being a little bit what we call bullish in financial markets. Don't be so bearish all the time, which means you're holding back and holding on to what you've got. Sometimes we have to invest to accrue. So just bear that in mind. And I also think that your day-to-day routine will speed up in the coming month when both Saturn and Jupiter station direct. And I think you'll feel the wheels of remunerative work grinding forward, even if it's ever so slow to start with. It will move. And the commitment to an exciting project could really be worth you taking the time to focus on. Okay? All right, Libra. Well, of course, this is your new moon. This is all about you. Whenever we have a lunation in our own sign, it really is very much about us. And Libra, here's your new moon, and here's Mars, the ruler of your opposite sign, Aries, conjunct this new moon. So I do think you're going to be feeling very good about yourself, Libra. I think you're going to be feeling very confident about how you want to progress forward. I think you've got plans for your home environment, and also in getting back into the swing of kind of planning social events, outings with your close friends and loved ones, as we move towards autumn and winter, and in the hope that any restrictions may be minimal. And let's hope so. I think that the powers that be, or the energies that are around astrologically, to me don't really indicate that we're going to see a return to how it was, say, at the beginning of the year. So, okay, Libra, let's move on to Scorpio. Scorpio, a moment of enlightenment greets you with this new moon energy, as you feel a real surge of energy with regard to anything to do with communications. You are very impatient at the moment for change, and I don't think you're in any mood to compromise. And certainly Pluto, our planet of transformations, beginnings, endings, stationing direct soon after that new moon turns. Okay, well, I just feel that if others don't play nice with you, they may well experience the sting in your tail. So I think you need to take a step back, Scorpio, because you do quite, when you blow your top, you blow it. So just take a step back. Think about collateral damage in any of your dealings with relationships, because Libra is about relationships. And use the new moon energy wisely. Now let's move on to Sagittarius. Okay, so for you, Sagittarius, this Libra new moon is giving you the green light to start making concrete plans about a project that's been in your mind. And this, it may not be a big money spinner, Sagittarius, but it will be fun. And I think if you sow your seeds now and then flow with this direct motion of Pluto, and then later in the month, Saturn and Jupiter, to send out invitations to whatever it is you're planning. And I think by the full moon partial eclipse in Aries later in October, life could look very different. Okay, actually I'm wrong, it's not a partial eclipse in Aries, it's in November. It's because I've been writing November. The partial lunar eclipse is actually at the end of November in Taurus, so excuse me for that. Okay, Capricorn, let's see what's happening for you. So This new moon, like a couple of our other signs, kickstarts a new working regime, which brings you very much into the public arena in a much more prominent way. Maybe you have to do presentations, maybe you have to host events, but there does feel like there's something about you being much more out there in the public gaze. And of course, with Pluto in your sign, about to turn direct, this to me signals a very much a no-nonsense approach to people in your life that can't keep up with you. And once both your ruler, Saturn and Jupiter, move direct later this month, you will see your finances improving through work. Well done, Capricorn. You have really, really worked hard. And I think there's even a possibility of a bonus coming up on the cards. Aquarius. Okay, let's have a look. So, increasing your knowledge, Aquarius, is high on your agenda with this particular new moon. It's a good time to start a new training or maybe pick up with something you never completed. Pluto turns direct soon after the new moon, giving you a bit of a push towards that leap of faith with your plans. And of course, with both Saturn and Jupiter in your sign, they are supporting your plans, the results of which will start to bear fruit later in the month when both these planets move direct. So don't give up, Aquarius. The finish line is definitely in sight. And finally, we come on to Pisces, and I always do this. Our lovely fishes. I know, I'm silly, but there we go. So for you, Pisces, this new moon sheds its light on your investments, always good, and joint finances. And so you might want to use this energy to tweak things a bit, to make your financial future a little bit more secure. The anxieties and doubts that you may have had to do with finances are going to start to ease. And it's just important that you use prudent judgment before signing any documents to do with a new project, work project or new home or anything like that. So just make sure that you don't overstretch yourself, Pisces. So I think, Pisces, you're going to be feeling super excited about lots of things that could start to unfold in your life. And I just think it's important that you don't splash the cash. That's the phrase that's come into my mind. So just hold back, let that piggy bank fill up, and all will be well. And as they say, all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. And the rose and the crown will be one. That's from, I think it's a T.S. Eliot. And that just popped into my mind. So thank you so much for coming to join me for this live stream, in-depth look to Libra's new moon in October, which is on October the 6th. And this will be available on Catch Up on YouTube from tomorrow. Also, my blog that accompanies this new moon can be found on my website. So just go to my website, which is in the description box, and you can read what the basic script that I use for this interpretation. And in the meantime, I wish you a great October. I will be back via Gozo in the House for the full moon in Aries at the end of October, or middle of October. It's around the 20th, I think. And please enjoy. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you.